Hey everybody, this video is called the Time Warner Cable Mishap. And in this video I'm going to show you a really big mistake that Time Warner Cable made, I'd say about a week ago. In order to describe exactly what happened, I gotta walk back behind our yard. We live along a main road and there's a neighborhood behind us. And the Time Warner Cable line comes in through here and goes along the power lines back into the neighborhood. So now I'm going to walk back here to where the cable lines go underground. So basically the cable line comes from over there, and there's some connections back over here for these 4 homes. And our neighbors behind us recently got Time Warner internet installed because they used to have at&t DSL and standard telephone service, and I encouraged them to get magicJack Plus, and they did. And they also switched their internet from DSL to Time Warner to get the telephone line completely out of the house. The installation of their service went perfect. The technician came out and he figured out they was going to have a new line put in, so he laid out a new cable line, hooked up the service, and it worked great. It was when the line was buried that the problems began to start. Now for our neighbors, they never had any service interruptions. Here's what happened. The Time Warner technician that came out to bury the line, the contractor I should say, that came out to bury the line, apparently didn't have much of a clue about what he was doing. So anyways, like I say, the line comes in up here and the connections are up there, and he made some disconnections. You think that's bad enough? It gets better, which I'll tell you here shortly. But anyways, at around 10 o'clock, I forget what day it was the day that they had their line buried. All of a sudden, our Time Warner service stopped working completely. No TV, no internet, no phone, no nothing. So we scheduled an appointment for a Time Warner technician to come out later that day. He noticed that the line was disconnected, so he reconnected it. But yet we still didn't get a signal at the back of the house. So apparently the contractor that buried the cable line that goes to their house cut ours in the process. So like I say, he disconnected lines up there and he cut ours by mistake. And of course you can look down here, it's a real mess. Got several old cable lines down here. This here is the one that goes to our place. This one here is the one that goes to our neighbors. And this one here, not so sure about it, where it goes. I guess it goes over to other neighbors, but I believe he has DirecTV, though I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, so the technician that came out had to give us a new line. Of course, at their expense for the mistake they made. That was over a week ago. And yes, this line has not been buried yet. It's like I say, normally they'd be out within a few days to come out and bury the line. That hasn't happened yet, so basically we have overhead cable service. But it gets better. That was mistake number 1. Now it's time to show you mistake number 2. Okay, of course, here's our overhead cable line. I got it hanging in a tree because it gets in the way when you try to cut grass. The next mistake they made was they only checked the signal quality out here, which after replacing the cable they got a very good signal, but after that we started having issues when they replaced the cable, and I'll explain why. After installing a new cable line, internet services worked good, phone service worked good, but we still had issues with digital TV. Analog TV also worked good though. The issue with the digital TV is that it would frequently get pixelated and sometimes break up, and it'd be like watching digital TV over the air. Like, let's say your local channel's over an antenna. That's exactly what it was doing. Sometimes you get your channel, sometimes you wouldn't. It would occur on both high definition channels and standard definition channels. Basically, the second mistake Time Warner made, like I said, was they only checked the signal quality at the back of the house rather than coming in to where the TV's at or any other devices are at and checking the signal there. Used to be with the old cable line, we had to use an amplifier because the old cable line wasn't putting out the best of a signal. And with the amplifier, it was bringing the signal quality to where it was supposed to be, so the digital TV worked just fine until they replaced the cable line with a new one. With the new cable line, the signal quality was already good enough coming into the house, but with the amplifier, it was causing problems. And that was figured out several days after the line was installed when we called another technician back out to assess the problem. So anyways, that was a fair share of clumsy mistakes that Time Warner Cable made when they first installed our neighbor's cable line for internet services, and then when they installed a new cable line for us after cutting our old one, they forgot to check the signal quality inside the house. So that was more or less 2 wasted trips out that other technicians had to make because of one mistake that a contractor made when they buried the line and cut ours. What do you think about that?